Business analysts have called on the National Treasury to make public its intended absolute figure in capping the country's borrowing. In a notice, acting National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur has called on the public to send their views on the plans. Faisal Ahmed has the details.
The move by the National Treasury to amend Section 26 Cap AC of the Public Finance Regulations on National Government is born out of Kenya's worrying debt trends. This saw global rating firms Moody downgrade the country's sovereign credit worthiness. More recently, it indicated that this could go further to be too stable. While this could be a commendable move, opinion is divided on its timing.
I think this is the right time, but I think it's too late. It's too late. I think we'll have done this a couple of fiscal years back because we've run a huge amount of debt. I think also they need to go ahead, Parliament actually needs to go ahead and define the kind of borrowing that is permissible. And Parliament needs to actually sign off on debt terms. According to data from the Central Bank of Kenya, the country's borrowing is at 5.4 trillion shillings. The figure estimated at 60%, 10% more than the current regulations that max debt at 50% of the GDP. But even with this gesture, the National Treasury is still holding the critical card of absolute number closest to its chest. This is a concern even as Kenyans are being encouraged to send in their comments and views. Recommendation by Treasury, which is my second point, the recommendation by Treasury actually is a bit ambiguous. I've looked at the letter, the text. It's a bit ambiguous, and ambiguous to the extent that one is, are we setting a moving figure or are we setting a fixed figure?
I think right now it's giving Parliament that leeway to be able to set the limits. It could be a hard figure, and my view is that even the case in the US, they time and again they reach a point whereby if they are just nearing that debt ceiling, they're able now to increase it depending on the needs.
Treasury has all along defended its borrowing, this backed up with the growing investments in infrastructure. However, the converse has been a heavy burden on the taxpayers.
I don't think we have any more room, especially when you look at the debt dynamics. If you look at the government's fiscal activities, last fiscal year, which ended June 30th, the government spent more than half of ordinary revenues, which is tax revenues, on debt service,
which constitute more than 90% of the government's income. Out of the 1.4 trillion shillings, 850 billion shillings went into debt repayments. During the same period, Treasury also borrowed an estimated 770 billion shillings to help in funding the national budget. The move to cap the country's national debt using absolute figures is a welcome one compared to the percentages which we have been using. However, analysts are keen to see where the Treasury and the National Assembly will place the figure at. Faisal Ahmed, Citizen TV.